enjoy that one?
No.
No. That was against the clock, right? Well, fastest wins, yeah. Fastest wins.
Oh.
Do you think there was any way you could have been more efficient during that task?
Yeah, you could have gone out with a checklist. I mean, the most efficient thing to do would have gone outside and gone, it's a statue.
Hindsight.
Hindsight is a fine thing.
Yeah.
The better thing to do would have gone out with a checklist.
Yeah.
What, gone out, said that's on, that's on, that's on, that's on, that's on, then go back in.
It may be that I've started this tone by smashing that little box, but you seem quite cross.
I'll be honest, that was the one I hated the most.
This one?
Yeah.
Why?
It made me very cross, it wore me out, it stressed me out, it hurt my head.
You were the quickest of these three.
Feel better now?
Maybe.
Phil took 10 minutes 50 seconds.
Jesus Christ.
10 minutes 50. Kerry 9:26.
Sorry.
And Jess 11:49. So it's a similar ballpark, all of them.
Good.
Next, we're going to see a little old man. It's Brookhill.
So that goes there. Where, what's that? Is that just something like, is that connected to the task or is something completely else? There's another plug there. Well, I'll tell you what, I'll flick that switch off and nothing will happen when I flick that switch. Nothing happens when you flick that switch, stop the clock. That's my final answer. Nothing happens. No, it's not my final answer. Nothing happens. That's not, I mean, unless it's something that happens somewhere else. It's electrocuted in the studio. Flick that. Take that, you fizzy fuck. Now you're fizzing in that chair. You're fizzing on your concrete power commode. Take that. I hope those teeth fall out your head. It shouldn't take much. Hopefully, the answer is you flick the switch and Greg gets electrocuted and those rotten pistachio he calls teeth just all just rattle out and fall out of his head. That's the final answer.
I must have done something to you around 2009. Because the vast majority of your responses are about my rotten teeth, which I had fixed some 8 years ago.
He was the quickest. He was the quickest. We stopped the clock at 3 minutes 37. Thank you very much. But I'm not sure he got it right. I mean,
No, whoa, he didn't get it.
He didn't get it.
No, you didn't.
Once I clicked the main switch, that switch didn't do anything.
No, if you left it, no, we always have
now, moving on to the last contestant, it's James Acaster.
Really annoying place for the switch to be. Get out. Fan. Hello, Alex.
Hello, James.
It's a good one.
Thank you.
Okay. That's the way to use the switch, man.
Raise yourself.
I feel very pleased.
What was that chance? You just, it was chance, he just caught you.
He checked everything. He checked the whole area in one go, rather.
I'll tell you what it was, Kerry. It was urgency. The man appreciated he was against the clock, and he moved with speed.
I was looking at it, I was looking at it right now.
Well, it's all the time.
Here's how urgent I was, Kerry.
I was not wandering.
I was running.
I was running.
No,
No,
like
you
it.
I was running.
You may have done one run. You were largely sauntering. And then you went all Phil Mitchell again. When that's perfect. Did you enjoy that, Kerry? No, fucking you.
How long did James take then?
Well, Jess took 11 something, Phil 10 something, you 9 something, James 5:35. Let's just point that to it. Okay, well, I guess you're doing it for speed, of course. I mean, we all know that James Acaster gets 5 points for winning the task.
Oh.
It then goes 4 to Kerry, 3 to Phil, 2 to Jessica. But what happens with Rod?
Go on, give him a point.
For more Taskmaster, subscribe now.
Have no fear, Eggman's here.
How did you pass security?
I pretended I was a bar of soap and gave them all the slip.
Come to a lever with the peppermint bait, the chalupas in the refrigerator. sugar, buttermilk, pancakes in my eyes. Stepped on a toe, broken Navajo code. Now it's time to reiterate California. I got a thumbtack on my nutsack, pies 3.1415. Hey, oh, I don't know what I said, no. The more I sneeze, the less I blow. Got frisky with the buffalo. Hey, oh, whoa, whoa. Jelly beans and nicotine are streaming through my grandma's spleen, and I just stubbed my toe. Stumbling through the pages of a Webster's earns me wages. There's so many words to go. Tickle my bum with a mannequin thumb on a bongo drum in California. Snuffleupagus ate my asparagus, supernova toilet clog. Carjacked and I'm the 101, gotta have some fun in California. There's a sunspot on my kumquat, Nancy Reagan bit my dog. Hey, oh, I don't know what I said, no. I got your
Hey everyone, welcome to Office Hours. I'm Matthew Groves, here to work on the Conduit project some more. And we're really coming near the end of the set of features to implement the Conduit spec. So, started on the comment system last time. I did a little bit of work in the interim, just because it was kind of just the same stuff I've been doing, kind of get it out of the way. We're going to work on add comment, continue to work on add comment today, hopefully get that done, get some tests run. Then we've got get comments, that's get comments for a specific article, and then delete comment probably, not comments. And then that's it, and then that'll be the end of the features for Conduit. So it doesn't necessarily mean I'm completely done. There's some other tasks I want to do, stuff that involves basically getting this, deploying this to a real site, testing with the UI, all that kind of stuff. So that is what we're going to work on today. But before I get started, I want to give another plug to the C# Advent. I'm still looking for contributors. I think I'm down to maybe 7 spots left. So if you go to C# Advent, csadvent.christmas, yes, that's a real website. You can see here's all the spots that have been claimed so far. But I believe there's a few. Yep, there's a few here. December 16th, 20th, 21st. and 24th, and that might be it. And I think one of those is actually already claimed. I haven't got around to approving it yet. So coming down to the wire there. But if you're interested in creating a blog post, creating a video, a podcast, some sort of content, tutorial, whatever, and you want to get that as part of this event, get it in front of a wider audience, now is your time to sign up. It's so early to think about Advent, though. We're not even in October yet, but I want to start a little bit early this year because I have some interesting plans for later on. Talk about those later. If you come to this website after it's all filled up, you'll be able to get on the backup list in case somebody has to drop out. You know, things happen. December is a busy month sometimes for families, so things happen and people have to drop out. So usually I have to pull from that list. So that's another opportunity if you want to get in. And by the time you're watching this video, maybe it's too late. Go and sign up for that backup list. That will appear here. Okay, so let's get on with it. Let's get some coding done today. I've got 3 hours of streaming time. See if we can get through many of these. I don't see why we shouldn't. I don't anticipate any major issues with these. Let's get on over to this project here. You can see the last commit passed. That was good, 3 minutes. So it seems like the time's creeping back up a little bit, but not that much. All right, so add comments is what I'm already working on. That is number 19. That's Joey Votto's number 19. Maybe I'll remember it this time. So let me just show you kind of some of the work I did in between streams. This is the add comment handler, and I probably have to fix some tests actually now I'm thinking about it. But I added iComments data service. So I added a separate service just for comments. I was looking at adding this to articles data service, and it seemed like nothing the comments do really interact with the articles in terms of the data service. You know, this handler uses articles data service because it is checking to see that an article actually exists. So kind of a validation thing. But after that, the comments data service does not need the articles. As long as we have the article key, the slug, we're good to go. So I created a separate service for that. And I went ahead and just did a kind of a quick shell of that. So just the one method of add. And right here, you see it's partially implemented. And the other thing I did, and I got over this before, but it doesn't hurt to review, I don't think, is in this providers folder, this is really the data layer right here, kind of, to an extent. And that's why I'm kind of calling these services. This is iComments data service because it really uses these collection providers as the way to interact with the database. Hey, Gambler, what's going on? Glad to see you. Glad you're here. Hope you're ready for a good weekend. Got any fun plans? So anyway, what I'm using is Couchbase with .NET, but I'm using something called the Couchbase Dependency Injection library, framework, whatever. And one of the features of that, and this is an optional feature, you don't have to do it this way, but I kind of like doing it this way, is you can use something called a named collection provider. So right here, I created this interface. This is for users, iConduit users collection provider. All this is basically a marker interface, and it inherits from named collection provider. That's all this does. Nothing else needs to happen here. What does need to happen is back in the setup here, when I say add Couchbase buckets, so this is part of the dependency injection configuration, I say, okay, here's the bucket name, and then as part of that, I want you to also set up these collections. So for each bucket is kind of the high-level database that contains things. Scope is the next level down, so buckets can contain multiple scopes. So here, I'm using the same scope across the board, but it's from configuration. And this is because, hypothetically, you might want to have this same app running in the same database, but separate it into multiple scopes. So you not the same app. So you have the two copies of the app, let's say, configured slightly differently, maybe different tags, different subject matter, different names, whatever. But you want to have the data stored in different scopes. So kind of a multi-tenant situation. But then everything else is beyond that. So in that scope, then add a collection. This is not a not creating the collection itself, but adding a collection object to the C# graph using this collection provider, and this is the name of the collection. So then whenever I get this injected into, say, Conduit data service, then I can say, well, give me that collection from that provider. And it will give me, in this case, the comments collection, because I configured it right here, comments collection. So what I'd normally have to do is, if I didn't have this collection provider, I would have to do something like, I would probably have like I'll say bucket. Okay, and then I would say bucket dot, bucket dot, yeah, so I'd say bucket dot, I'd probably have to go to scope and, give me the scope name, right? And then I'd say collection, this should be await, by the way. Not that it matters, this is kind of a pseudocode. Await scope dot collection async, and then I have to specify the collection name here. So, and this is null because this is just demonstration code. So, by using this name collection provider, I save a little bit of coding here, and I also don't need to hard code this comment string anywhere I plan to use it. And that's why it's called a name collection provider. It kind of gives a stronger name, strongly named, strongly typed, I guess, I don't know, way to interact with Couchbase. So that's why I like it. So that's what I'm doing here. All the data services use one or more of these collection providers, and they follow the same pattern to get the collection, just with get collection async. No need to specify a string for a name, and then on we go. Okay, so we've got this comment request here coming into the data service, and I don't feel super great about that, but it just seems kind of pointless to create another class that's the exact same thing at this point anyway. Maybe in the future I'll have to do that, but this is the request coming into the handler, and it's going to get modified slightly and then passed through to the data service. Okay, so the next thing is got to think about models. So a comment model, I haven't created this, but a comment model, it's going to be very, very simple. It's going to be the body and the username. And that's it. That's all the comments are in the system, is those two things. However, remember that I designed this model to be a single comment document per each article. So each document is going to be actually a collection of those comment objects. Shouldn't be too difficult. All right, so I've got this collection. So now I need to get a set, like I've been doing with the other, with favorites and follows. And we're going to say await collection dot set. Is that right? Set. Yeah, set. And it is going to be a set of comments. And the key is going to be, I designed this was the article key and comments. Now the article key I don't have, but easy enough to get. Article key equals request dot slug to article. Wait, is it or is it get article key? Yeah, get article key. So there's the article key. There's the key for the document, yes. So then I do a key right here. This is not asynchronous. And then all I have to do now is comment set add. This is asynchronous. And the new comment. So actually, I'm thinking that really this should be a comment object here. But let's go ahead and do that. The only issue with that is it does not include the article. So what I could do is I could say add article and say article key. Say slug like this. That's probably okay. I think this is better. I feel better about this because this is kind of what I've done in other data services. I don't want to pass that mediator object all the way down to data services. I don't want, because that will, it's not a big deal, but that will couple my data services to mediator, and that's not really the point of mediator, right? So then we'll just go ahead and slap comment, which is currently called request, right in here. We'll say new comment. Okay, that looks good. I got to change this back here. So new comment equals new comment. So this kind of couples it to the data service, I guess. In a way, kind of couples it to the data objects. That's not a big deal, I don't think. New comment.body equals, I want to trim that, and new comment.username equals request.username. No trim that, and I'll pass in the slug here, like so, and new comment. Okay, I like that. It makes testing a little trickier, but I think I like that better. So this is, you know, it doesn't need to be a set though, that's the thing. Like a set implies uniqueness. I don't need it to be a set. I need it to be a list. That's all it needs to be. And I think that will give us some performance benefits. So it doesn't have to check to see if that already exists, which I'm not sure how that would do that anyway with a complex object. Probably use some sort of C# equality, which I haven't actually implemented, so it would never really work anyway. Okay, so there we go. And we can put a put a try catch around this. So I don't know what exceptions there would be, but this is going to be an error if something happens, and otherwise it's going to be okay. So what I would like to do instead is figure out what those exceptions might be. I guess if the document is full or something, I don't know. Can we go look at, just look at add async, I guess, in couchbase.net client over here. Just kind of see what exceptions might be thrown there. So we'll look at, see if we can find this real quick. Data structures, and we've got persistent list. So what kind of stuff could happen here? This is doing some logging. Yeah, nothing's really thrown here. Oh, we got argument out of range. That's interesting. That's for the set. That's if for some reason an index is passed in that doesn't exist, which I'm not using set async directly. Yeah, that's if I wanted to access it by a certain index. I'm not using that. I might use that later, in fact. Yeah, so I'm not really worried about any specific indexes here other than just like normal database issues, right? So I think this is probably fine. Of course, if it was giving me trouble, I'd probably want to put a log in here, or maybe a retry. But we're talking comments here. I'm not super worried about comments. If comments can't be added, it's not the end of the world for the website. If articles can't be added or viewed, that's more of a big issue. So pretty happy with that method right there. This right here probably can be refactored, right? Get comments key. Not that it's a big deal, but public string get comments key. string article key. Now this will have to be can I make this like something a little more? I thought there was a way to, yeah, there we go. What doesn't it like now? Oh, we got an extra brace. There we go. So that's just, when I use this in the future, I won't have to write this same string every time. That's all. Okay. So I think we're good there. So why not write some tests? And let's do a functional test. Why not? Well, I was already working on a functional test, in fact, but I haven't actually gotten as far as getting saved to the database. So let's get an article created for this test. Article collection provider, create article in database. Okay. And then act assert. So I want to put a comment in here. So request equals new. What is it? Add comment request. And the username is going to be the user that's logged in. And comments. Wait, no, this isn't right. No. It's this right here. A payload. Just consists of a comment. The comment's text. Yep. Okay. Well, I missed a act comment there. Okay, and then we'll send it off to article.slug. Get the response back. So I should assert that response.statuscode is equal to statuscode.okay. And I want to make sure that comment made it to the database. So this is in the past where I've done this little pattern here. Well, I don't have it yet, but comments collection provider. Conduit. Yeah, comments. Okay. So here's my little collection provider, and I add a little extension method to these for testing called assert exists. Which is going to be a little tricky actually, because each of these comments doesn't have their own key. So I have to make this one a little different, I guess. But this is in test helpers somewhere. Yes, right here. And a data test helpers. I'll make this one called comment helper. The static class. This is only available for tests. These type of access methods are really not safe for production, but they're fine for tests. So public static task assert exists, and this is an extension method on iConduit comments collection provider. And really, this in the past I've passed in like a key to make sure that specific document exists, and that's actually probably fine, right? Because there should be created because of this a key. If you remember, article comments, article key, right? Slug, no, dot article key comments. That should exist. What doesn't it like here? Right, so then I can just get the collection again with this name provider. This dot get collection. This needs to be async. That's probably what's complaining about. And then we can just say, does that document exist? Await collection dot exists async. This needs to be a string. Key. And we'll assert that does exist. Exists. is true because it's a test helper, so I'm putting asserts in there. And then further, that just makes sure that the overall comment document exists, but I want to test for a specific comment in there. So that's where I need to use this other little pattern where I pass in these assertions. So kind of like that. If I'm going to, it's going to be comment, but it's a list of comments, right? So then I can get the list of comments. This is awaits collection list of comment with that article key. Key. Wait, it's not that. Okay. Yeah, and then I can go and say if the assertions are not null, then run those assertions with that list of comments. Why doesn't it like that? Because it is a persistent list. Not a, well, I could make it. Could I make it like this? That would work. Persistent list implements the iList interface. And so any assertions in here will get run if there are any, right? So that's where I can say, okay, well, I know that exists, but I want to now verify that specific comment exists. Right? So I could say x, I can assert that x, any of those comments, comment dot username equals user dot username, and comment dot body equals, and I make that as a separate thing of expected body. Like so. Of course, this is where randomization really helps, because otherwise, if I use the same exact comment each time, that might make the test maybe fail the first time, but then pass the second time, which is not what I'm going for. So making it random each time, make sure that this is a valid test every time. So expected body. Okay, let's see if that works. It's not looking at the response string at all. That's okay. I can get rid of that. Okay, there we go. Save to the database. Easy peasy. Very nice. Okay, and just to eyeball it to make sure, I'm going to go ahead and check out the database. Shouldn't be much in there at this point. Should be easy to verify. So in the comments, oh, I forgot one thing I didn't mention. This is not the comments. There we go. So that's what I want to see. Here's the comment. And if I go ahead, if I added a second comment there, it would appear, there would be an array of them. But one thing I forgot to mention is I created another migration. And this is just creating that comments collection, which was not there before, but you can see very similar to migration frameworks that maybe you've seen before, where there's an up and a down, creating a comments collection, and then removing comments collection from reversing it. So that's already been run, as you can see, because there is a comments collection here. There we go. Okay. What else? If I already tested article must actually exist, is there anything else I need to test here? Something goes wrong with the ad service. This should return some sort of message, right? Response. Was comment I don't know. Was adding comment failed? Not exactly the right grammar. Was adding comment failed? Just call it is failed, because it already says is comment, right? So create that property there. Back to the controller, comments controller. We can add another condition here. If add comment response dot is failed, return unprocessable, I guess. I don't know. It's not really the right error message. What is the right error message? I think there might be something in the spec to help me with that. Let's see. If request fails any validations, forbidden, not found. Yeah, nothing else in there. So like 500, I think is I'm going for. What's HTTP error code 500? Internal server error. So I'm looking for. So is that internal server error? What is the, okay, help me out here, Copilot. How do I return a 500 error from ASP.NET? Probably just throw an exception, right? But status code 500. There was a problem adding that comment. Leave it vague like that. I really don't want to hard code this, I guess. It'd be nice if I could... yeah, there. Well, it doesn't seem to work. It doesn't like that. Okay, well, we'll leave it at 500 then. Okie doke. So what else needs tested here? Adding the comment. It's validating the comment. The only thing I'm not testing is something goes wrong with the database, but I can't really simulate that in an automated test. There is actually some tools out there. What's it called? It's related to Poly. I think it's called Sully, maybe. But it's like a way you can wrap your code like chaos testing sort of thing. Let me see. Is it Sully or Poly chaos testing.net? Simi. It's called Simi. I assume for simulate, right? But you can introduce all these injection policies. So exceptions, faults, latency, inject latency. That's pretty cool. And then you can introduce any other behavior if you want to. So it's Chaos Monkey, and I think it does this. You can say at a certain amount of time it does this. I'm not actually sure how you're going to put this into your code. Like, I don't necessarily want to ship chaos. This might be something that you can configure at startup, maybe. You know, if there's a flag turned on, it's like inject chaos policy, then wrap everything with these. I guess that's a possibility. But pretty cool. I don't think I'm going to use this, but pretty interesting. The other thing you can do is actually, if you're using Docker, I looked into this. There are some Linux commands, Linux tools that allow you to simulate like latency and network problems. And so if you're using Docker, assuming Docker for Linux probably, you can actually inject that into your Docker image. So for instance, you know, right now I'm running a Couchbase server locally here. If I wanted to, I could go in here and inject and start running those commands so that any network request coming in is going to be simulated, you know, some additional latency. Or maybe it simulates, you know, a drop packets, things like that. So that's another way you can test to make sure that your code is resilient and can respond correctly to those things. But that might be a little overkill for right now, but it's just something interesting that is out there, and it's good to know about. So why don't I try this like in the web browser? See if that works. First try. Okay. So then comments I need to be logged in for. So let's go through the whole thing of creating a user, because I can never remember the passwords and what users are in there and what aren't, so that's fine. We'll register a new user. We'll put in Gamlore September 22nd, because I think I'm already created a Gamlore. At example.net, and your password is strong password 01 bang. Okay. Create that user. There we go. And let me just copy this. I think that's the main thing I need. So now I will log in using that JWT token. And I'll create an article. Yeah, leave a comment in your own article. Let's see why not. So Gamlore is the best is the title. The article description is 1001 reasons why Gamlore is so great. And then, of course, Gamlore is the author of that, lorem ipsum. Okay, and we'll tag that with cruising. Why not? Okay, so that article has been created. And really, we just need the slug here, because we're going to add a comment. That slug right there, and I agree. I really am the best. Okay, and there we go. So now, if I go and look in the database, which this is just kind of a... We know what's going to happen here, but if I go look at comments... Well, if we look at articles first, let's look up that specific article. There it is in the database, authored by Gamlore, that just created. And then if we go look at comments, why is it saying not found? There are definitely comments there. I wanted comments, please. Okay, there's the comment. We already see it just there on the view. But notice that the key is the same article key, so E8X followed by 3NY. And then here's the comment, I agree, I really am the best. Username Gamlore. Let's go ahead and just add a second comment. It really can't be said enough how great I am. Okay? Gamlore, you're really... Seems like you're really full of yourself. Okay. But then, just kidding, Gamlore. I'm the one entering these comments, not you. We'll retrieve this, then we should see, now we've got 2 comments in here. Now there's no dates or times on any of these, I don't think. You'd think that you need to add those. Is there anything about that? Yeah, this doesn't say anything about ordering, so it's really just going to put them out in order that they've been written, which, if I wanted to, put it in reverse, just reverse this list, and that will give me the latest one first, if I wanted to do that. That's how I like to read comments, is the latest one first. But you know, some people like the other way. But yeah, there's nothing about ordering in any of these comments. There's nothing about oh, wait a second. That's different. That's not what I expected. So this returns a created... Okay, whoops. Whoopsie daisy. This has an ID with it as well. So, okay. I made a mistake here. I oversimplified the comments. Clearly, there's more to it. But again, it doesn't say anything about using these created dates. And why is there updated at when you can't change comments? There is no update comment. That's strange. It looks like here they're identical. Okay. And the ID is a problem because I don't actually store an ID for a comment. I'm guessing it's because, let me see. Delete comment. Oh, it needs an ID for it here. Okay. See, these are things I didn't realize when I was first modeling, but I don't think it's a problem. I can give it an ID. In fact, it can just be a number. Alrighty. No problem. So, back to comment here. So I need to say new comments dot created. Let me go back to this. Add comment. Created at date time offset dot now. And really, I don't see any reason why this should be any different. It's just an alias for the same thing. I'm not going to even bother storing that. Now, as far as the ID goes, so there's two approaches. I could give it an integer, like it's suggesting, kind of suggesting here. And I think I probably need to stick to that. All right. So then I need to come up with a way to increment it. Which I think I can do here in the add comment. My problem is, I guess the risky thing would be race conditions. I don't want to give two comments the same number or anything like that. So I could give them a random number, just a long, really long random number. That would work as an ID, right? It doesn't need to be. There's no reason I can see to, hey TBD gamer, what's going on? Great to see you. Working on comments. I can't think of a reason why it needs to be incremented. Like they don't need to be in any particular order. Where was my specs at? Right. I mean, I guess if I was building relational, I wanted it to automatically assign this number. You could just use a new ID and be done with it. And I could certainly create an auto increment, so it's similar to an auto increment in Couchbase. Just a little extra work to do that. But what is the point? It does not need to be auto incremented. It does not need to be any particular order of these comments. If anything, the ordering is going to be by date, not by an ID. So why not just give it a random number? I can't think of a reason why. But I'll leave that to the data layer to do that. Yeah, I think that's fine. Then I'd have to add an ID column or ID property to this field, which then exposes it to here. So I don't know, maybe I just add the new comment ID right here. I don't have a random. Random. Next, between, I don't know, what's a good, if we said there was, what, 198,000 comments, up to 198,000 per thread, so something like 100,000 to 300,000. Will that be big enough spread there? Oh, I could also... I could also make it part of this comment. Is it okay for common ID to collide? No, it's not okay. Because this will have, if they might need to be deleted later. So I think that ID is corresponding to the comment that needs to be deleted. So it's not okay for them to collide. And this is, I think this introduces enough randomness where collisions would be pretty rare. But I think what you're getting at is mathematically they could possibly still collide, like just unlucky. So makes a mess if it happens. Yep. Okay. I think I see your point here. So I can make an increment counter, no problem. And that's actually probably a good thing to demonstrate in Couchbase in terms of education here. So my question then is, it's okay if I have that there. It's just it's going to be ignored. Yeah. Okay. So no problem. So I want to do that to data layer. I want to say the new comment.id equals, and this is going to be get next comment ID. That's going to correspond to the slug. And this really can just be private. There's no reason to expose this anywhere other than the data layer. Set task, integer ID. This will have to involve going to the database. One more key value operation, not a problem. Okay. Now, how does this work? If I haven't done this in a while, I can say await collection dot. What is it? There's a specific operation. I thought there was anyway. Like an increment operation. Look this up. I haven't done this in a long time. Docs.couchbase. Well, this is a function. Incremental atomic counter. That's what I want. Yes, atomic counter. .NET SDK. Okay. Collection binary. Oh, okay. So you haven't used this API since SDK 3 was released. So binary. Interesting. Okay. But the ID is going to be article or slug dot get article key and then counter. All right. Now, does this actually create the document if it doesn't exist? Atomic counter. It doesn't say. Oh, wait. If document doesn't exist, seated. Yeah, there we go. If document doesn't exist, seated at 1. Perfect. That's exactly what I want. Okay. So then is this going to return the... It's going to return the result. Content. Turns as a long, as an unsigned long. That's fine. Yeah, that's okay. Okay, so what this does is it's going to, for this comment, it's going to go and get a ID number, a new one, unique one, but they're going to increment. And that's the increment, that counter stored in its own document, basically. So it's going to get that ID, so that's going to be unique to this particular operation, and it will store it there. If this fails, of course, no big deal, because the next time you get another comment, it will be the next number. So it's always going to be unique. No reason to put us in a transaction is what I'm getting at. Yeah, there we go. So add an ID. Add a unique ID. Add a unique long ID. Okay. The other thing I didn't realize is that this needs to return more than just the body of the comment. Also needs to return the created at. Yeah, so really what this should be returning the comment, I think. Because it needs to return the ID as well. Okay. So yeah. So this is not correct, but I can just do this. Like that. Okay. And this needs to return the results with the new comments and okay. Right? Does that make sense? I think so. Yes. All right. But the other thing this needs to do, result.status. Yes. Okay. This also needs to return a created at request. It's not request. It should be result. Results dot data results dot body. Results dot data result dot created at, and may as well be the updated at as well. Results dot data result dot updated at. That's the exact same thing. So we got those. We got the ID. The ID equals result dot ID. Fine. And then this author. So I need to look up the author. Or I could leave that to the controller. Let me think about that for a second. You know, really, it should just be like this. Mixing all those things together, I shouldn't be doing that. Okay, and then I can also say, well, okay, but the author is an issue here. Yeah, and this should be, so it's referred to here as author. So I'll just change this to, but I want it to be stored. No, storing it as author is fine, right? Or author username. Author username, something like that. Nope, don't do any of that. Just this one, please. Okay, so the issue here is that I need to retrieve all that author information, which potentially means I need to bring in the user data service to do that, or it could be done at the controller level, which would be better? How do I do this? How do I do this with articles? Because it's the same issue, right? Articles. So I put together a view. Article view model. Yeah, so I probably need a comment view model. Yeah. Okay. That's fine. Comment view model. You can just have the comment, right? No, that's not going to work. So this needs to have all those things, like so. This is the view model, basically. All right, so public ulong ID, public date time offset, created at, and it's okay to leave these, whoops, as separate, because it's possible in the future update feature might be added, so I don't want to assume at the view level that those are the same thing. Public string body. Okay, and then I've got this, do I have author view model already? I don't have an author of it. What do I use for that? Profile view model. Yes, because it is a profile view model. Right, because that shows a subset of the user features. Okay. And it also needs to figure out the following. So am I following this user who's commenting? Okay. Okay, so view model equals new comment view model. View model dot, so I could pass in a comment. I can make that part of it. Okay, and I can say this.id equals comment.id. This.created at equals comment. So a bunch of left-right code. We got an add break going on. Okay, so that gets that portion. I also need to get the author portion, which I think, do I have? I don't have anything. Yeah, I guess I could get. Do I have the author profile? Yeah. I get that. Okay, so it's another mediator request. The author username is the add comment response dot comment dot author username. Right. So in this case, you're viewing your own comment. So it's never going. You're never going to follow yourself. It's not allowed. That's okay. Claims bearer token. Yep. So that's all good. And then I could pass in that author profile. As another parameter here. This.author equals new profile, whatever. And then this.author.bio equals get profile results dot. Oh, I've got profile. I've got that already. Well, that makes it easy. Just pop that right in there. There we go. Well, that's nice. Okay. And it's all wrapped in this comment thing right there, right? So this comment view model needs to be wrapped in this comment nonsense. Okay. All right, so that was a little messier than I hoped. Is this thing going to compile? It is. Okay, amazing. All right, is it going to pass the test? Comments controller, add comment test. Let's try it. They all pass. Wow, that's pretty amazing. I'm pretty happy with that. It's almost like I'm doing something right. Okay, great. So that, of course, means the data that's already in there is no longer the rights data. Right, this doesn't make sense anymore. But, you know, I can leave it in there. It's fine. But actually, should be some new docs. Yeah, there we go. So you can see here's how it works. There's the counter, right? And this is the new structure of the comment. It's got the ID, it's got the created at stuff. Oh, you know, I'm storing that, updated that, basically storing it twice. There's no reason to do that at this point. What's the JSON ignore? Yep, JSON ignore. Why am I ignoring that? Because there is no update comment functionality yet, so it's pointless to store this. But updated at is part of the Conduit spec. Okay. So if I run this again, then it won't get saved this time. There we go. And which one was it? Nope. So now it's just created at. Stored there. There we go. TBD Gamer's got a question. If I may ask for the purpose of discussion, is comment view model taking a dependency on another object the right design there? Is it not better to initialize the view model explicitly in the code rather than wrapping it up in the constructor? So you're saying instead of doing like passing these in and doing this, you're saying because this is depending on comment and these result objects, I should take these out of constructor and do it like in the controller? Is that kind of what you're saying? Well, it's a good question. This could make the comment view model read-only. The correct word is escaping me. Immutable? Is that what you're saying? I could make the comment view model read-only, and there's no reason why I shouldn't. Like, get rid of these sets for sure. There's no reason to have those in there because it's just private sets. Yeah, see, I don't know. That's a good question. I'd see it's not much difference in my mind right now. It's just that this kind of hides all this left-right code in a constructor, kind of keeps it away from the controller. I mean, I guess I'm open to it, but I'm wondering what is the benefit. You're saying removing these dependencies, right? But there's still going to be dependencies. Even if I take them out of the constructor, it's still going to be part of the left-right code here. Takes the dependency on the models. Yeah. Well, so it does. It does indeed. But, I mean, I've got to get those out of there somehow. But in a place that knows about those models. Are you adding all these to the featured? It's fine. Yeah, I mean, I could see either way. It's just that what I'm kind of... oh, you're not. Someone's doing it then. Maybe Surly Dev is lurking? Yeah, I knew it. Thank you, Surly Dev. I don't know. So let's see what that looks like here. So what I'd be doing here is like this. Like so. That's what I'd be doing instead of having the constructor. Ignore the red stuff for now, right? Or make them init only properties or record. Yeah, I haven't done any of that for this project. But okay, so if I make it a record or init only, how's that different than kind of what I'm doing here? Oh, okay, because there's, I think I see what you're saying. That's kind of with orthogonal. All right. I mean, we could try it. So let's, you want to do a, let's see, how does this work? These are a init. No, it's okay. I mean, I haven't done any of this in the rest of the project. It's okay to experiment. And then, so how this works is what? I just kind of comment these out, right? And then it's something like view model equals new comment view model, whoops. But then don't I have to something like this, right? Equals add comment response dot ID. Something along those lines. I think that's how this works, right? Created at, whoops. Created at, get rid of those, and updated at equals add comment response dot comment dot updated at, which is always going to be duplicated. Body is add comment response dot comment dot body, and author get profile results dot profile view. Huh? Oh, it's author profile, like so. Okay, I mean, again, this just makes this class a little slimmer and makes this controller a little fatter. Certainly that's a good way to demonstrate the use of init-only properties. Wait, not this one. This one. But yeah, so I guess one thing I want to see going forward is your VM now does not have a dependency on handlers or data access models. Well, correct. It doesn't directly via the constructor, but I still have to populate them with those objects. And one thing I'm going to be doing here is when I add more endpoints, I'll have to use this view model again. So if in those next two endpoints I'd use the same exact constructor, then I'm basically just writing this left-right code 3 times instead of once. But if I don't use that for some reason, if I can't use that, then this is probably a better approach because I have to do different mappings each time. So, well, we'll kind of put a pin in that and we'll see how it goes. Totally fine. Let's just make sure everything still passes, of course. I don't see why I wouldn't. Okay, there we go. And thank you for indulging me. Anytime, TVD Gamer. But here is the latest. Nope, not it. I keep clicking on that one. This is the latest. There we go. And you can see we're adding these counter documents. But, you know, in the relational world, you'd be like, oh man, a separate table or a separate row just for counters. But in NoSQL world, this is like nothing. This is 1 byte essentially. I think the key actually takes up more space than the document itself. So this is not a big deal to add this. And really, behind the scenes in relational world, that's probably how this works. There's an atomic counter somewhere in a table that's stored that's just not explicit like this. So that's how that works. Alrighty. In relational world, that's just, yeah, it's just hidden implementation, right? Exactly. Okay. And really it's hidden to the C# code as well. It's just not really, unless you're in the data layer, you don't really care, right? So this is maybe kind of an example of how sometimes in the NoSQL database, you have a little bit more responsibility in your data layer, in your application layer, than you do in relational, but you also get flexibility as the trade-off there. All right. So I think I'm good on the add comments. We're quite good there, so I think it's time to commit. Let's see what we got. Got a whole bunch of new files, but what do we got here? New tests. Oh, I left that in there. I need to get that out of there. Article data service. This is the direction I was going with it. I changed my mind, so we'll get that one out of there. Yeah, that's just not related to this right now. Added that new data service and the new collection provider. Nothing there. And then these are all new. Number 19, add comment endpoints. Tests and data stuff. And test, handler, and data. Commit. And I'm not going to push just yet. I want to go ahead and do the second part of this, which is add update docs. Okay, and just need to add this right here. Yeah, let's just go and do this. All right, so this is going to be the add comments to an article. The slug is the article slug. Body. Well, it shouldn't be body. We should call it, just call it comment instead. That's really all there is to it, body of the comment. Okay, and get rid of that. Well, no, I think it's fine. Returns a view of the created comments. Okay, need to add some remarks to this, which is conduit spec for, whoops, conduit spec for add comments to an article. There. Okay, and let me borrow some stuff from here. Make sure I get these response codes covered. Successfully created returns the created comment. Unauthorized. Yep, that's fine. Articles unlikely to be created. Unable to be created. Something went wrong while creating the article. Okay. A 404 also needs to be in there. 404. article wasn't found. All right, and this comment body model needs to be, hello, declaration, needs to be commented as well. So this is the body of the comment. And I think I restricted it to something, right? Let's see, add comment. Must be 1,000 characters. Required must be less than 1,000 characters. Okay. That's all good. Let's view that in Swagger, OpenAI, whatever, or OpenAI, Open API. Where's my Swagger at? Here we go. Add comment to an article. There's all that. There's the schema, comment body, yada yada, all the responses. There we go. Anything need to be added to the README? I don't think so. Maybe I need to, yeah, this is incorrect. Create a comments collection in the default scope. Just make sure these are all, got my manual alternative in there. It's correct. Articles. Breakpoint there for no reason. Okay, that all looks good to me. And time for another commit. Data docs for add comments. Whoops. That looks good. Yep. I'm not going to commit that as part of this. However, I will commit that while I'm there. That was really part of the feed 14. So I made some changes to that notebook. Data notebook for feed list query. Okay. Speaking of relational, I'm currently working on a table that joins on a non-unique number column in another table that's user-controlled. All the queries are written and expected to be one-to-one. Oof. User-controlled. Joining on something that's user-controlled. That's painful. That's really painful. Sorry. Let's see. If I've been in a situation like that, probably. So, last company I worked for, it was very highly configurable. And so the customers could create their own form. It was essentially a form builder, a little more complex than that, but it was a form builder, that, like a workflow builder is what it was. So they would create different steps in the workflow, different fields that were required, and so on. And there was some fields that were more customizable than others. But then certain customers would take it even a step further and say, well, we need to get a specific report on this field or whatever, or and some feature that we'd build in for that. And oftentimes it would have to join with some of that custom data, I think. I might be wrong about that. But yeah, we had to proceed as if it was, you know, it'd be in there multiple times, right? So I don't remember how we handle all that. Probably really complicated logic in views or queries. So that's this kind of situation where entity framework really, or any ORM for that matter, is really not going to handle it very well. So that's where you need to drop down into raw SQL or hand it off to a Sprock or a Vue or something. You can't really do that kind of thing in an ORM, at least not very easily. Okay, so did I push? Push. I didn't push. There we go. We're pushed. And that one is done. And we can see that it should show up here very shortly. Ta-da, ta-da. Maybe? There we go. Ta-da. All right, so that's going to run the CI. I didn't run all the tests, so hopefully I didn't break anything else. It's possible I did. So we'll wait for that to run before I start on the next ticket, which is get comments from an article. I think I understand now why authentication is optional. I didn't understand this at first, but authentication is important for this. It's optional because if you're logged in, you want to see if you're following a given comment author. This also almost makes me think that this should be a SQL query in its own, because getting all these comments might lead to, if there's 10 comments, then there'd be 10 lookups for the following. Oof. This might be a query as well. Well, no. Have to think through that. Let's make sure this runs first. I'm going to get myself another beverage, and after these messages, I will be right back. After these messages, we'll be right back. I'm back using my silicone that conference drinking glass today. Oh yes, thank you, TB Gamer. Great to be back. Did a long journey out to the kitchenette. Okay, yep, there we go. We got a pass. All right, so now we're into the world of getting comments. And we're still in articles slice here. Comments controller. I have a feeling this endpoint's going to be more trouble than I thought, but this is going to be a, wait, is this a, it's not a post. Gosh, it's getting in my microphone. This is a get comments from article. This is a get. Get. Anonymous is allowed, and the route for this is like so. Action result and get comments. Okay, and this is from route. That's all I really need. I don't need any, there's no other body coming into that, right? Yeah, it's a get, right? Okay. But authentication is optional, which I know I did somewhere else. Create article, favorite article, unfavorite article, get. Yes, so this kind of situation here. So determine if the user is anonymous or not, and then we get the username. Okay. All right, then we make a request to mediator. Request is new get comments request, and that's going to be the slug and the username. So we need to create a new handler. somewhere. Handlers. Handlers are getting quite a list here. Get comments request. So I request of get comments response. Okie doke. And then response equals await mediator send request. Off we go. Alright, so slug equals, not slugify, slug equals slug. And username equals username. Username is, as you can see, nullable because it might not be there. Alrighty. And return the response. It's going to be, well, it's an array. It's a collection, right? Nope, not Swagger. Go away. Multiple comments. It's an array of comments. View models, basically. So, oh, and that needs to be wrapped in this comments. So return, okay. New comments equals, and this is a response dot, I don't know, comments view model. What did I call it up here? Comment view model. Just call it that for now. Okay. Now, over here in the handler, get comments handler. I request, no, I handler, I request handler. Yeah, that's right. Get comments request, get comments response. Like so. All right. The only validation would again be, does this article actually exist? All right, which is kind of what's done. There's no validation, I don't think, necessary. So let's just do these. Yep, and it's failed. Yep. Okay. So really I'm just checking to see if they exist. So that was add comments handler. Add comment handler. This portion right here. No validator necessary. But I do need the article data service. Articles data service, please. Yep, that's fine. Articles data service, please. Come on. Okay. Whatever. All right, this is get comments response. Okay, so that checks if it exists or not. Article must exist. All right, the next question. If we go back to this, all right. Note that all my comments are in a single document, which I could retrieve with a single get operation, which would be tremendously fast. Except that this little field right here, and well, and actually all this author stuff right here, but especially the following field right there. The author stuff I would pull with just a second get operation. So if there's 50 comments, there'd be 51 gets. So that's a lot. So I'm already leaning in this direction anyway. SQL query. SQL query to get this. That's just the way it's got to be. No problem. All right. Okay, Gamlor, you're going to be out soon. Thanks for stopping in. Have a great weekend. Maybe before you go, share any exciting weekend plans you've got coming up. Always curious to hear about what other people are up to. Get comments, and all I need is a slug. That's going to return a collection. Let's see. Let's figure this out. No plans. I actually think I don't have any plans either. Oh, yeah, I do have plans. I'm going to the Reds game tomorrow. One of the last games of the year. This is not... Oh, I'm doing this in the wrong place. Not articles data service. I do need that. Comments data service. Yes, that's my plans on Saturday. My daughter's going to a band competition, which I won't be going to because of the Reds game. There should be a list of comments. But my wife will be going to that. But I'll be going to Reds, taking on the Pirates. So there's 6 more games left in the season, is that right? 6 more? I need to find out now. I'm going to clean up your office this weekend, see if I can get my equipment set back up and resume streaming on my weekends. Oh, okay. Get some streaming going. You're going to visit the circus. Oh, that's cool. I haven't been to the circus in a long time. To a circus, I guess. In a long time. My kids were very, very little. Okay, I'm mistaken. There are 7 games left this season. No, 8, because this is a 3-game series. One of those is in October. Yep. So I'll be going to this one tomorrow. Oh, we get a Reds team photo. Whoop-de-whoop. The kid is 5, so it fits. Yeah, it's great. I remember it being kind of exhausting for the kids at the circus. Because they were young and they'd never seen something like that before, and we were walking around a lot, so I don't know if they even remember. If I'd asked them about it, do you remember going to the circus? But there's the Shriners have a circus that they have here, I think annually, in Columbus area. The Shriners is a fraternal charitable organization. They have several hospitals that they fund. And they're known for the guys wearing the fez with the little like logo on it. And it used to be common that in parades they drive around these little tiny cars. But it's a great organization. They run some Shriners hospitals, which are for children mainly, children's hospitals. But yeah, they have a circus. So every year around here, not a big one. It's not like the big, the crazy circus you think of from like movies and stuff. It's a smaller circus. But I think it's 2 or 3 ring though. I don't know how big yours is, Gambler. But hope you have fun at the circus. See some cool trapeze artists, and I don't know if they still cart around the larger animals or not, but it's usually those horses and stuff like that. It's pretty cool stuff. Some trick riding. Clowns are always fun too. I enjoy clowns. Okay, I'll be going to a different kind of circus, the Major League Baseball circus. I expect it to be a packed ballpark for the second to last home game of the year, and the Reds have been doing surprisingly well this year in attendance and record and everything. Alrighty, so this is another SQL query. So why don't I create another notebook? That was very helpful last time. Do it again. Conduits, where did I put those? Data access? Yeah, queries. So we're going to do a new file. How do I... This right here? Collections and comments. Yeah, I know there's no... There's no index there, but can't I create a notebook file? How did I do that before? How did I do that before? Must need an index first. I don't know. Okay, I'll take that index now. No index is available. Load more. Okay, here we go. Sure. Let's create one. I'll have to remove that later, but there's all the comments. So I don't want to. I want to. How did I do this? Is it just like, oh, here we go. New notebook. Okay. Forgot how to do that. All right. And then can we save this? Can we pick? Yeah. Okay. So this is get comments. Alrighty. Great. So select star from conduit default comments C. So C dot star where say on. Oh gosh, I can't remember. The syntax, is it on keys? Using keys? Use keys. I think that's right. Let's see. Something like this. Can I copy that? There we go. Let's copy it from the metadata here. Use keys like that. Is that going to work? Why didn't it work? Why didn't it work, but didn't return anything? There's stuff in there. Is it because it's an array? Now it's an array of an array. I don't like that. Let me think about this. So what's going on here is this document is a little different than other normal documents in that it is itself an array. Normally, it's just a single JSON document. This is an array of documents, which is totally valid. But it seems like I need to think about the SQL a little differently if I want to query everything in that comments. So select star. It brings everything in under C. It brings it under comments. Do I have one that's multiple? Also, I want to make sure I'm using the right one. So let's go ahead and it's going to take forever. I'm going to go over here. It's a little faster. I could run delete from, but I'm too lazy to type. Okay, and then once I do that, now I can go and run these unit tests or these integration tests, and that should create what? Restarting the application. Oh, am I running it right now? What's going on? I don't think I'm running the application, Visual Studio. Okay, do I need to do a rebuild? Could not build the web. What is happening? Is it because I got this open? Let's close this real quick. Okay, I could not build the web. Oh, here we go. Oh yeah, I don't have that yet. Cannot assign null to anonymous property type. Oh, ugh. Fine. Just need you to build, that's all. Okay. Okay, now I want to run these tests. I want to get some valid data in there. Okay. If I go back over to Visual Studio Code, I closed it. Then I should have something in here. Yep, I do. Okay. Give me that key. And do this. So now I know I have it in the right format. Okay. So that's not really doing what I expect it to do. So is there any way I can unwrap the array? Oh, here I am. Okay. ++ array. I want to modify an array. No, I don't want to modify it. Let's see. Where are the array functions at? Collection expressions? Every array Where's all my array functions? Server array functions. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Like, what's it, array flatten maybe? Oh, just one. There's an array of an array again. Wonder if I should approach this in the other way, from get the author first and join it. Yeah, that seems wrong too. Raw? That's not going to work, is it? No, it does, but it's not what I want either. What if I say 2? Flatten it twice. Nope. Okay. Okay, and what if I add a second comment here? I kind of want to see how this works. Same author, why not? And I'll go and update this while I'm at it. Okay. And what? What? Why didn't it update? Is that not how this plugin works? I'll just have to do it here. Well, the counter updated there. Okay, whatever. Okay, so what I want to return is C, but I don't want it to be called C. I don't want it to be an array of an array either. I might have to do that though, I guess. I don't know. Okay, join with defaults, not authors, users, nope, users, view on C dot author, I think I do want to flatten it out. That's the thing. I want to start with, maybe I'm looking for unnest. Maybe that's what I'm looking for. Syntax error. No, okay, but something like that, I think, if there's an array on nest. There's all kinds of array stuff here. One of these should do the trick, right? Array position, no. Array flatten. Array flatten. That's what I tried already, isn't it? Doesn't like that. Doesn't seem to be doing the trick either. So I think kind of the issue here is that SQL is treating each document as its own record. And I'm trying to store multiple records inside of one record, which again is valid JSON. So this should be something that I can deal with. I'm just not quite sure of the right approach. I'm definitely going to learn something new today, that's for sure. What's array star? Array of, okay. Convert a given array of 2 documents with 5 items each into an array of 5 arrays with 2 documents. No, that's not what I want. Array repeat, array remove. What is, oh, that's just remove something from an array, not what I want. I think array flatten is what I'm looking for. But this doesn't quite do what I want. Yeah. So I said raw. Okay, so now I've got an array that contains an array. And I suppose I could make that a subquery. Like that? Would that work? Well, nope, still keeps it inside an array. Something that would turn array, let's see, turn a collection, whoops, don't need to see that. Maybe it's an object function. Turn an array, a list, into individual objects. Object unwrap? No. Nope. Aggregate functions? I don't think so. No. JSON functions, maybe. No. Token type is array to array. Let's go to object functions again. Object unwrap. Nope, I don't think so. What's kind of annoying is that it keeps wrapping stuff in an array. I wonder if, let me just double check to make sure this is what is actually happening here. Yeah, it is. I wonder if this has ever been asked before. Let's see. Array, probably nickel, right? Updating nested array. I mean, I think unnest probably. Yeah, I think unnest is probably where we're going with this. So I'm gonna unnest C as C2. Select C2. Okay. I think that's what I want. Okay, there we go. That's good. All right. Now, can I... oops, not the right one. Metadata. Can I use the use keys syntax with that? Okay, it doesn't like that. Where meta of c.id equals like that. Okay, I guess I have to go with that syntax. That's fine. Okay. We're going to reverse these names though, because I'm not going to use C2. What? What just happened? Okay, I want to unnest. What in the heck? Okay, I guess I'll leave it at C2. What am I missing here? Can I just get rid of that? Ambiguous reference to field C. Oh, I know why. Yeah, because I have this right here. Alrighty. Okay, that's good. And now I want to join C.author user. No, I want to join. Sorry. Forgot how to write SQL for a second. Users on C2 dot create, no, author username equals meta u dot id. Why don't you like that? Does that user actually exist? Yeah, maybe the user doesn't actually exist. In my test data, I didn't actually create an author. Again, this bites me again. Why do I keep doing this? Oh, no. No, author, it should be... Yeah, because I created this user. That user should exist, right? Let's just see if this user exists. Users. It's not showing users for some reason. There still aren't users. What's going on here? Okay. Yeah, that user exists. Okay. Okay. Okay, to author username. Oh, wait, not C. Not C2. Okay, there we go. Oh, boy. All right, U dot star. U dot what, bio. Yeah, with value, you can't do that, right? I don't need value in there. Well, I kind of do. All right. So now it embeds this. Is there? Wasn't there something I just saw for like object unwrap? Nope. Doesn't work how I thought, apparently. Object unwrap. Unwrap an object without knowing the name of the attributes. No, it's not what I wanted. Object inner pair? No. Object inner values? No, I don't want an array. Okay, the problem with this is this C right here. I want to get rid of that and that. I want to basically kind of take these out of the object. And the way to do that is normally just say value. All right, that'll take all the values out of that. But let me think about this. Isn't there a way to object add? Yes, yes there is. Object add. Object add to the object, and I'm going to add author. Remember how to do this. Of you. Like that. Number of arguments must be 3. What? Oh, is there a third? New attribute key, new attribute value. Oh, okay, okay. Perfect. Key, attribute value. Yes. There we go. I don't want password though. I just want bio, email, and image. I just want those specific things. Welcome back from the commercial break. Could I do this? To nothing object. Object add bio. That's going to be u.bio. Yes, that'll work. Okay. Is there such a thing? Object remove? What are we removing? Oh, there's object remove. Removes the attributes. Okay. But I'd rather do an opt-in, right? Because there might be other fields added in the future. I don't necessarily want them to be included. So I'd rather go the additive route. But I have to keep wrapping this. This needs to keep nesting. Right, I'd have to wrap this like so, and then what was it? Image. U.image. Yeah, see, now this is going to be impossible to read. Let's see what's wrong with that, though. Arguments must be 3. So, yeah, there's 1, 2, and 3. This one has 1, 2, and 3. What am I missing here? I got too many parentheses somewhere? Yeah, extra parenthesis. You got me. You got me. Oh, still not working. At from, reserved word. Yeah, parenthesis goes there. Huh, I hate this. I hate this. There's got to be a better way to do it. Object, add. It adds a nice little color, doesn't it? To that object. And another one would be, what was the last one I wanted? So no, like object fields. As object field. I would think there'd be a way to literally do this, though, right? Author, so like c.bio, c.image, something like that. Doesn't seem to like that. Oh, it's not C, it's U. Yeah, there we go. That'll work. That's way easier. Okay. What was the other field in there I care about is bio image username, right? Yeah. Which is just c.author username. Yeah, there we go. But that should be as username. Yeah, it doesn't like that syntax, so I'll have to do this. Let me just make sure this matches with my spec here. Username, bio, image, and then the following part is, of course, the tricky one. Following false. There. Just make it all false. Okay. So now I need to join to the logged in user. Yep, that matches. It does match, but I need to join the logged in user. Optionally, right? Join to the logged in user if not anonymous. So this join here only happens if the user is logged in. Oh, I need to turn off this left join, right? Yeah, it needs to be a join for sure. Okay. All right, so this will be a logged in user. Also join. I'm going to rename this to author to keep things straight. Okay. Conduit .default.users. This is the current user. Current user on. Let's see. It's all. No. Yeah. I'm always joining. What am I joining exactly? I'm not joining. Yes. I am joining. On, not the users though. Following. Follows. Follow on. Follow dot. Let's see. This is the current user, right? This is something like mgroves. What's the structure of those? There's no index on those. I don't feel like creating one. I'm just going to head on over here. Colon. There's some sort of bug in this UI. Colon follows. Equals meta follow.id. Now it's not mgrows in this case. So I need to set up a, also I don't need to select the author username here, but we can ignore that for now. I need to set up in the database some mgroves following this particular user. So do I have mgroves documents? I don't think so. No, there's not one. So we'll add a document. mgroves follows. This is also an array. I'm just going to follow that one user for now. Okay. And then the following. Let me see if I can follow this a little better. The following is array contains, which I did in the other one, right? This one. Something like this. It's not A, it's C, author username. Okay. Following is true. Okay. And so, if I go back over here and set this to some other username doesn't exist, following equals false. There we go. So there's my query. It's an array of comments. That's exactly what I want. Except, I'm missing something here. It's like, you know what you're doing. Sometimes I do. I'm pretty good at SQL. Spent a lot of my life writing SQL. But I'm missing some fields here. Pretty sure. Created at, updated at is not there. Don't care. Because it's just, in the model, it's populated by the same thing. Body, ID, author. Author username doesn't need to be there. Could I do this as well? Just say c.body, c.created at c.id. Yeah, that'll work. Now, what's the best way to format this? You know, I'm going to see if ChatGPT can help me with that. I'm going to let it do the thinking on this one. Format this SQL ++ query to make it look nice. See what happens. That looks way better. What do you think? That's a little more readable, and it's a little more understandable what's going on. Okay, we'll go with that. This still work? Yep. Okay, great. And this is the... do I actually need object add? You might be right. You might be right. So then I can just say like this, like that. Column 9. Oh, should not be a comma. Column 9, line 6. Oh, needs to be a comma right here. What am I missing here? Line 12. Oh, I've got something. Yeah, too much. I like the way you think, TB the Gamer. Way better. Don't need this object add nonsense in there. Yeah, I'm not sure why I had that in the first place. Thinking back now, it's just unnecessary. That looks way better. Make sure this value is necessary here. Yeah, that is necessary. Okay. Yes, it is. It is. Code evolution. All right, fantastic. And so this needs to be parameterized with article slug. Article slug. And this needs to be parameterized with logged in username. Everything else is good as it is. So let's review. Well, I probably need a better index for this as well. In which case, I'm going to go back to Couchbase here directly. Execute that. It looks good, but what advice do you have for me? Do It's using this primary index. Don't like that. It's got this index recommendation here. That's kind of interesting. On all C2, so that's... What is C2? In this query, what is C2? All C2. And then meta ID, which seems to me very much like the primary index. C2 is the comments, right? Yeah, in this case, yeah, I called it that, but in the index itself, I mean, C2 is just an alias. What is this? What would this index statement know about C2? I'm guessing this would be a syntax error, right? Okay. What the heck? All C2. How does it know what the heck C2 is? Because there is no C2 field. Yeah, you can hear that, can you? Oh, gosh. Yeah, so it's still using the primary index. Okay, well, I don't think that is the right index for sure. That index doesn't make sense. There is no C2 field. So the index is valid. It's not syntax error because it's JSON, right? So there could be a C2 in some field somewhere. But that's totally a... it's totally an alias. So I think that might be a bug. I'm going to have to write that one down. It's a bug in the index advisor for sure. Yeah, that's a weird one. Okay. So, see, you can't always depend on index advisor, sadly. So why don't, see, if I was allowed to, I would try the Capella IQ at this point, which is the, I don't know if you saw this announcement or not, but Caltrace Capella has or will have, I should say, a built-in, kind of a co-pilot thing. It's built-in generative AI chat. So once you log into Capella, you can start doing things with your database right there via natural language chat. Things like recommended index, create test data, create collections, that sort of thing. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to show that sort of thing on the stream here. I know we have video of it and stuff. It's public knowledge. It's out there. But I'm not sure allowed to show it yet. I do have access internally to that, but. Let's see. Here's my revised query. I feel like the main issue is that this is querying on the key, the document key, which I would much prefer to use the use keys syntax here, but it doesn't look like I can do that. It looks clean and well organized, yeah, because you organized it for me. Indentation structure. Yeah, you're really just complimenting yourself here at ChatGPT. Nice work, thumbs up. Okay, this is kind of cool. It shows me some links and stuff. I don't know if these are accurate or not. Let's see. Yeah, this is something that just generates these. This is an old. So that one works. Oh, that's kind of cool, actually. Okay. Suggest an index. Oh my goodness, you definitely heard that one. I don't know why I'm so hungry. I got 45 minutes left to lunchtime, stomach. Settle down. Okay. So here's a suggested index. Okay, this one looks more interesting because it is creating an index on the array there. Let's try it. let's try this index over here. Hey, AJ 2017. Great to see ya. How are ya? Thanks for stopping in. Just an update is that I'm hungry. So if you hear some weird noises coming, this microphone is apparently sensitive enough to pick them up. All right, so that index seems to work. Let's see if it uses this. Still using the primary index. Are you going to CodeMash 2024? I certainly plan on it. It's my favorite conference. I have submitted to be a speaker, but even if I don't get accepted, I still plan to go to it. So yes, makes it a little more challenging. If I'm not speaking and I'm not sponsoring, like I'm basically just going on my own time, my own dime. But happy to do that for CodeMash. All right, so let me just whack this index. See what happens. I need to whack this one too. These primaries should not be hanging around. Are you planning to go to CodeMash as well, AJ 2017? Yeah, so that index isn't doing the trick. But I like where it's I like what it's doing here. It seems to make sense to me. Yeah, you do plan to go. All right, excellent. So let's just look at this index here. Author username in the comments. That seems like that makes sense as an index. Where meta? What if I only run part of this? Like I don't have this right here. Yeah, what about, oh, there's already that index there. Let's call it 2. Okay. Now what? Okay, hey, that one's working. Okay, so that index, I removed this part right here. I don't know if that's really necessary to do that. Yeah, I'm not sure what this wildcard would even do in an index, frankly. So this part right here seems to be the way to go. It's not a primary index, so I know it's at least better than that. Hard to tell with such small sample size if that's really making much of an impact, but I like it. So now I need to create it as a migration. Let me just make sure I have that saved somewhere. Okay, this is going to be create index for get comments. How many code mashes have you been to, AJ? Create index, comments, index, comments, I don't know, index get comments. All right. Where is my index at? Oh, it's over here. So this is the one that I don't want to keep. Drop. And this is the one that I do want to keep. And I'll just pop that over here in the comments. I could just execute this as a raw index, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the fluent syntax here. On scope, on collection, on scope, scope name, on collection, and that is the comments collection. Okay. On field. All right, so I've got to split these out. 1, 2. like so. And I might want to say on field raw for these, actually. Because they're not specific field names. And on field raw, like so. Like that. Okay, and delete index from scope, scope name from collection comments. Okie doke. Manual alternative would be what I just did, which is right here. Okay. Oh, it still has this C in here. What is that? Oh, no, because it's defined C for C in. Okay, great. All right, I'm happy with that. This should be migration number 8, though. Okay, so I got the index created. Now I need to actually get the comments, like actually process the query. And that is over here. Paste that right in. This is less complicated than the one for the feed and articles list, for sure. Okay, so I need to put in the current user name. This needs to be the article slug. I think that's it. That's all I need to parameterize here, if I'm not correct, if I'm not mistaken. And this part only needs to happen if the user's logged in. So we can say logged in join. There's nothing. And we can say if request. Oh, shoot. Yeah, this needs to pass in the user as well. Null or not, it needs to pass in that user. So string current username, and add that up here. Current username, and that should be nullable. In fact, probably should be optional, right? Not that I'm going to do that, but just go with that. Keep it consistent. That conveys some intent as well. So if current user, this should be nullable. If current username not equals null, then a logged in join equals this portion right here. Okay, and then a logged in join can just go down here, like so. Everything else is fine. Okay, so then the results equals, I need to get the collection. Equals await, get collection, okay. And then results. So wait, not collection, no. Queries don't run on a collection in Couchbase, they run on the cluster. I still need the collection though. But I need to get the cluster from that. Collection.scope.bucket.cluster. Okay. Cluster.query. They sync and this needs to be probably another object, another data layer object here. I called this article list data view before. I'm going to call this comment list data view. This is kind of like a view, so that's how I'm naming it. Okay. And this is going to pass into SQL. So I need some options for this. For one, probably parameters are the most important. What's happening? It's not asynchronous. Okay, options dot parameters. What's going on here? Query options, yeah. What's going on? I did the same thing. Okay, articles, probably a namespace issue. Articles, data, service. Let's just bring in all these just to see. Okay, so it definitely was an issue. It was probably one of these two namespaces. I don't know. Okay. Options dot parameter. One parameter is the article slug. And that just comes from that. The other one is the current username, which we're going to set as a parameter anyway, but it could be null, which is fine. Okay, and the other one is options dot scan consistency. I'm going to explicitly make this not bounded. And again, I discussed this with the articles list. This might be a little trickier because if I'm reading an article and I add a comment, I would assume then the page would refresh and I would expect to see my comment there. But in reality, it might not be indexed that quickly, right? The page might refresh before the index gets updated. But this is a performance optimization here. I want to specifically say, don't wait on index to get updated. Just go ahead and give me the results right away. Now, when it comes to testing, that gets tricky. So what I did with the article data service is I did this right here. This is feels a little hacky, but it's not that bad. I have this, oops, wrong place. I have this protected virtual method that returns the default, the scan statistic I want to use. All right, which if nothing else changes, I mean, this can't be set anywhere outside of this class. It's not public. But when I get into writing tests, I want that to be request plus because I don't want to add like thread.sleeps or whatever to make sure the index gets updated. So then I can basically just create another class that uses this as a base class that can then override this protected method for the purpose of testing. So this is only here for purposes of testing. Hypothetically, you can think of this as kind of like a constant. Like if I had other queries in this data service, I might want them to use the same scan consistency across the board. I don't know, but it feels a little bit hacky, but the alternative is hacky tests. So that's how I look at it. All right. I don't think we'll have time to get to that today, actually, but maybe we'll have time to get to making sure this actually works. Okay, so there's the results, and turn results rows to list async. Not list of comments now, it's going to be list of comment list data view. Got to attend a meeting. You're always going to meetings, man. Anyway, good to see you, TBD Gamer. Glad you're here. Thanks for the help today. I hope you do have a great weekend. I will enjoy the Reds game. It'll be a great time. Going with my my son, my father, my brother-in-law, my nephews. It's going to be great stuff. We won't be on TV, so you don't look for us. But yeah, it'll be a great game. Have a good one. So let me change this to the data view, not the comments. So we're not returning just the comments here. We're returning this big view of stuff. Okay, so what's the problem here? Return type differs. List of comment data view. Isn't that list of comment data view? Yeah. List of comment data view. Comment list of comment list data view. Oh. It says async. Good. Well, still not right. List, comment, list data view. Just be explicit about this. See where the issue is. Cannot implicitly convert list. Oh! I'm making it so much harder on myself. Okay. Return new data service. Yes. That needs to be this. And let's say okay. Forgot about my little wrapper object. Okay. Looks good. I can also wrap this. Again, just kind of handling any errors from the database there. Put that right inside. And returning a error. Yep, okay. So let me just look over this query one more time. Current username follows this nice little select value structure here. This turned out way better. Went through some stuff to get here, but it looks really good. And this unnesting turned out to be the right tool for the job, which I kind of danced around for a bit, but figured it out eventually. Join to the author. Yep, makes sense. Okay, this logged in join is optional if you're logged in. And we're all set. Okay, I think what I'd like to do is write a test against this. Well, let's write a test against the whole darn thing. Why not? End-to-end API test. So here we are in functional comments, controllers, test, public class, get comments, tests, functional test base. I'm going to take a lot of this stuff with me because I'm just lazy like that. I have a shirt that I got from Indie Code that has that famous Larry Wall quote on it. What is it? Developers. What is it? The three great virtues of a great programmer: laziness, impatience, and hubris. So definitely laziness applies to me for sure. Impatience, yes. Hubris, I don't know, not so much. Maybe I don't have enough hubris. That's why I'm not a great programmer. Okay. Let's do a happy path test here first. Task. Comments for an article are returned. I think my action needs some more work anyway, so this is fine. Range, act, assert, which, by the way, I have something that needed to be yoinked. I did. I yoinked it already. Okay. Okay, the end point here I'm looking for is what? Endpoints. Get comments from article. Like so. This is a get async. No payload. So I need to arrange an article.